This week in league, Tristan Saylor misses out on the Dragons contract despite showing he fits the club culture perfectly.
Aaron Molan headhunted by Donald Trump to become the White House race advisor.
The curtain closes on the career of the first rugby league Immortal body part. Thanks for the memories, Jared Beale's knee.
Plus, we look ahead to all the action for Week 3 of the 2020 NRL Finals Series.
All that and more this week in league. Welcome to episode 372 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
How you going, my man?
2 weeks from the end. What a season.
Well, the end of the season, yeah. I mean, not 2 weeks from the end of the show, though, because although I think post-season, we'll have a grand final wrap-up episode, so I guess we got this week's one, next week's one, the one after that. Then then there may be a break for Origin, or it's like a week, or it's not long, though, before Origin, 2 weeks. It's like mid-November, so it'd be 2 weeks at the most.
Yes.
And so I don't know whether we fill those weeks or we just take them off. And then, then it's the Origins. And then after the Origins, we'll do the TWiLies and fucking good night, Irene. It's nearly Christmas time.
That's it.
It's fucking crazy. Like we're doing the TWiLies in December.
Jesus.
Fucking nuts.
I'm going to start.
Normally we do it like mid-October.
Start doing that thing that all the other e-thots are doing.
What's that on OnlyFans?
Post my Amazon wish list. Spoil me. Hashtag.
Hashtag what?
Sorry, hashtag spoil me.
Hashtag lazy slut. Oh, I don't really have anything that I feel like talking about this week.
It's the time of year where, everyone knows what games are on.
Yes.
Fans of pretender teams have fucking dropped out and stopped thinking that they're going to do anything
Stop listening to the show.
Yeah. People have stopped thinking Clint Gutherson's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's an enigma. We'll get to that, though.
He's a what?
He's an enigma.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had an Aaron Molan moment there for a second.
Yeah, no. I don't. Look, I mean, I don't even think in the Molan household you could find a slur against him. I mean, he's pretty much like an Aryan poster boy, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, his little, his hairstyle's a little bit on the San Francisco side of things, which probably wouldn't go down too well down there. But
and we should probably point out, unless you've got it in the news,
I don't, because I don't
give a fuck, because it's not fucking actually newsworthy.
Yeah.
The thing we're going on about with Aaron Molan is everybody remembers the allegedly
like 2 months
racist
ago,
comment she made.
Yep.
It was a podcast or a radio show?
That one was maybe it was a podcast. I don't know. It was one of the two. These days, fucking podcasts are just repurposed radio shows from those guys anyway.
Exactly. So she'd said something allegedly racist, making fun of Polynesian names.
Mm-hmm. She said it was like an inside joke or a joke about, something to do with.
She said it was a callback to a story that they told in an earlier episode. The Daily Mail publication.
Well, no, she's then proceeded to initiate defamation proceedings.
Yes,
against the Daily Mail.
They referred to her a white woman of privilege.
Yes.
Which, let's be frank, like Bill Burr wrapped her situation up pretty fucking well.
She's one of his bitches.
Yeah. Where else in the world can somebody simply be called a white person or a white woman of privilege and be able to sue?
Yeah.
Everywhere else in the fucking world at the moment, they go, yep, had a lot of privileges.
Yeah. Laughed. It wouldn't be laughed out of court because it wouldn't get that far.
Exactly.
She'd be laughed out of the lawyer's office that she went to.
So she sued them for defamation, and so basically what the Daily Mail's legal team have done
is gone back through everything she's ever uttered.
Yeah.
That's recorded publicly.
Yeah, that's it.
On podcasts and whatnot.
And they are saying that they believe they have a case to prove that Aaron Molan is an objectively racist person.
And I mean, and at the end of the day, I mean, she had the one thing that she could have just let it rest.
Yep.
Maybe defended herself, or apologized or whatever, and then just moved on with life. She had to get all legal with it.
Did the cash grab?
So then they've engaged their legal team, and probably every intern on the books and every work experience kid.
Yep.
To go back and listen to everything, and they've catalogued like, I mean, the article that I read, I mean, they catalogued, like, 5 or 6 different, completely different separate occasions where she was, she was hitting she was hitting like Chinese people, like Asian people. She was hitting everybody.
Indian accents. Yep.
So, just born of another time. She would have been great on Hey Hey It's Saturday.
If they'd have let women on that show.
Well, I mean, they had that one that was like the co-one with Daryl Summers. What was her name? Jackie McDonald, Fiona McDonald, one of those bitches.
Oh, that fucking bowl cut just came flying back into my head.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Huh. I wonder if that informs my Pornhub choices these days.
As in terms of what's a guaranteed click or what's a never click?
what imprinted on me?
Well, I mean, then I guess you got like Aussie Ostrich probably is the reason why you fucking put on the Elmo gloves with.
Fantastic.
Yep. Real news though. There's an actual story.
Yes.
Well, not really. It's just rumours, but it's fucking funny to talk about for us anyway. Newcastle halfback Mitchell Pearce could be packing his bags and heading down the M1 to Bondi to reunite with the Roosters. Former New South Wales coach Laurie Daly said the Tricolours want Mitchell Pearce back. The name I keep hearing is Mitchell Pearce. They want Mitchell Pearce back, Daly said on Wednesday. They're a unique club, the Roosters. They want to win every year. That's their goal. That's their aspiration. That's the way they have their operation, and Trent Robinson has done a terrific job. Nick Politis does a great job.
Does that say they're a unique club they want to win every year?
Yeah, every other club goes out there just wanting to fucking, just be involved.
Yeah. Oh, look, this is the 3rd year of our 3-year want-to-win cycle. So whilst we didn't want to win for the last 2, we do this one.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah. And if they can do whatever they need to do to get the players to their club, they will. And Pearce being a replacement for young half Kyle Flanagan, who's come under fire for not living up to the Roosters' expectations in his first season with the club. And then it goes on, and apparently they're keen to move him on with the Bulldogs being the most likely landing spot. So the idea is that it came out today or yesterday that they wouldn't be extending his deal past the 2nd year, which is next season.
Yep.
And with the idea that is such humiliating or, makes it untenable for him to, bother with the 2nd year and to seek a release before then, if the appropriate landing spot is out there.
Yep. Or get in and go, well, hang on, was this his first full year? Like, I know we had some time
full
with the
year,
Sharks. Yeah. So, okay, it's his first full year.
Yeah.
Let's get in and fucking work our balls off next year and make it undeniable that they need to re-sign me.
Yeah. I guess, and there's talk as well that Ben Walker's kid, Sam, is contracted to the Roosters next season and is said to be in line to take his place as well. So,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're a club, they want to win every year, whatever. Yeah, it's the only club in the competition wants to do that. But let me tell you, if you're going to try and jam a rookie in there every year, and fuck them off at the end of the year if they're no good,
if you don't win a premiership,
or if you don't win the premiership,
fucking hell,
it's a long road to fucking disappointment.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not having to go at Kiri here. Does he strike you as the natural mentor type?
Maybe not.
I mean, he was very fortunate that he got a couple of seasons next to Cronk.
Yep.
And there have been many instances where you can see one half is clearly bestowing some wisdom on the other, like we had Maloney and Cleary.
Yep.
Go through. There's just something about Kiri and his personality that doesn't strike me as being the natural, wise older shoulder to guide somebody.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say because they're definitely. Maybe not in the halves, but they're definitely guys you would think are.
Yeah, there are.
Are great on the.
There are, but what's Jake Friend teaching him about fucking kicks in play?
Yeah. Well, that's a basic skill level sort of situation. Yeah. The thing is, there were, at times he was the dominant half in the side and fucking carving up for them as well. And I would be reluctant to scapegoat him for the shortcomings in the last 2 games. Incidentally, games that they lost by a total combined of like 5 fucking points.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll get to the game situation later, but I think the Roosters got bigger fish to fry than a halfback that's presumably, given the time and the experienced bodies around him that they have, and the quality coaching, that could only get better. Or no, or maybe not. Or maybe, then they're seeing what's happening, on the training field, and they're seeing what's happening in the locker room, and maybe he's just fucked. I don't know.
Yeah, and take with a grain of salt as well. Just as actual news stories are fewer and further between for us to talk about.
Yes.
That means they're definitely fewer and further between for actual journalists to write about.
Yeah. Yep.
So that means what you get are these things where a plausible speculation suddenly becomes
the fact.
Rumor.
Yeah.
And they pull the old, and they, I quoted this to you. There was one tonight.
Oh yeah, the one said, what is it?
That wrote a whole fucking story based on where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
And it was about it's either Pierce to the Roosters, or there's the straight swap.
The straight swap
Pierce
is
and
fun.
Moses.
The straight swap is the story that I want to happen. So you know why? Because it doesn't affect either of our lives.
Correct.
In the least.
Correct.
However, the joy and just and mileage that would come out of a straight swap with Mitchell Pearce going to the Eels, with Mitchell Moses going to the Knights. Oh my God. The amount of tweets that would have to be deleted by fans of both clubs would probably break the fucking bird. And
well, see, now we know that Clemmer's a giant fucking sook as well.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine those two? He'd probably punch him.
Yeah.
Imagine Moses is like, get up, cunt, to Clemmer.
But not even.
He's, fucking get up, cunt, you, mate.
Not even like that. It'd be a cry punch.
Yeah.
Like where you're crying that hard because something didn't go your way.
Like that,
lash out.
Like that redheaded monster at Canberra.
Yeah.
Oh. Male rangers, what are they fucking good for? Ugh. Absolutely nothing.
No.
In the bin. Anthony Seibold. For weeks now. Months. This situation happened where there were the WhatsApp screenshots and everything. We all saw them. Honestly, I can't even fucking remember what was alleged now, but he was fucking this or doing this and buying drugs off whatever. I don't fucking remember. I can't even remember exactly what they were. Though.
I remember that there were named players and named ex-players' daughters involved who have just chosen to do fucking nothing about it because they know it's not true and just let it die its natural fucking death.
But Seibold called in the Mossad to fucking find the originator of these things, and we've already spoken ad nauseum about how naive and just uneducated about the internet you have to be to think that there's it's that easy to do. Then it goes quiet for a while. Seibold gets sacked, has his settlement with the Broncos. He walks off into sunset. But no, it comes dredged up. I've handed it all over to the cops, and they're going to take care of it. Then it goes quiet again, and then it comes up again. It's I want to try and find the exact wording, but it's saying it was like a full-time employee of the New South Wales Rugby League. This is a known person. It's a fucking bombshell who spread this rumor around. Heads are going to roll. But, alas, the person at the center of the cybersecurity probe is a former part-time referee. And I think it was like in regional, like in country, in bush footy, not a person of great prominence at the NRL, not a person of great prominence at any of the clubs, nor the New South Wales Rugby League in general.
So that would be like saying, if somebody who cleaned windows on the building that the Commonwealth Bank was in,
prominent employee of the Commonwealth Bank,
was claiming he's
a high-level executive of the Commonwealth Bank of Australia.
It was, stole 3 scratchies from his mate at lunch.
Yeah,
financial fraud by high level.
Oh, it's just nuts. I mean, after this, we expected this thing would go nowhere at the start. It's taken some twists and turns to get there, but finally it's there. It's there, nowhere.
This just nails what I already thought of Anthony Seibold, in that it is such a fucking foreign concept for him to go, I fucked up in either my approach, my methodology, or my execution when I was coaching that side.
Yep.
And I fucked up so badly that my position became untenable.
Yes.
Now, that could have been, I gauged players incorrectly, I gauged relationships incorrectly, I didn't read feedback properly, I didn't create an environment where feedback could be given freely.
I didn't listen to the senior fucking players group who seemed to be fairly vocal about what was working and what wasn't working.
To provide free fucking tips.
Yep.
But to come out and now try and change the narrative of this too, he was hardly done by.
I was a victim of...
And now you can see what he was doing. Oh, it was an inside job, and it was against me personally.
Yep.
And that's why it didn't work out, but I can't tell you who it was.
Yep.
But just know that it was an inside job and it was a personal matter, so it's not really my fault. It, please hire me. Essentially, I feel that's what.
And once again, if he hadn't commented on the thing, because for starters, and this is what we see with the listenership of this show as well, is that internet usage is there's a very high uptake in Australia.
Yep.
Podcast listenership, massive subset of that. Like tiny subset of that. People who are on social media, tiny subset of that.
Yes.
People who actually would have even seen the WhatsApp screenshots that were sent around, tiny percentage of people. If something like that comes out, it's clearly fucking bullshit. I mean, just like the wording of it, like, my mate works for the, blah, blah, who's a sponsor of the Broncos. And
so you know it's legit.
So you know it's legit. Like, they all fucking follow the same script and they all have these, and each version of it that circled around, 3 days apart, had more fantastical details added on the last. They were all sort of built from, the first one was fairly salacious. Second one just ramped it up to fucking 12.
Yep.
And then the next one come past and now it's ramped up to 20. The thing is, they're so preposterous that no one actually believes them for a minute.
Exactly.
Well, no, I'm not going to say no one because there are some fucking retards out there. But, most people with a brain in their head don't, they just think, oh, that's hilarious. Bullshit. Move on with their day. If he didn't make a story of it, by bleeding about it, and defamation, this is the second time tonight we're speaking about people making a big deal of something that would have just fucking gone away. And he's built this up over a course of months. And if this is true, that the guy is an ex-referee that was refereeing regional bush footy,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I guess it doesn't reflect well on his cybersecurity experts either.
Yeah, true.
Or he's just fucking, jazzing the story up himself. Like, he gets the results back. Oh, it's this guy. He's a referee, employed by, New South Wales Rugby League. And then he's just like, he builds that up to...
It is. I just think 100% from what I've seen, it was trying to save his own reputation.
Yeah.
By jacking up the importance of the person that did it.
Mm-hmm. And that story in general... as opposed to the story of didn't do a good job at the Broncos.
Yeah.
Was moved on as a result very early into a long-term deal.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing, obviously. It's very career damaging. So let's take... has he been advised that that's the way to handle it?
I don't think he has any other advisors except the lawyers that are going, yes, please pay
Take
us.
It to the end of the line.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Let's bring another QC on.
Pay us per email.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Recaps. Okay, the first one we had, the Raiders, 22, defeated the Roosters, 18, defeating their quest for the three-peat, and also reinforcing the meme / statistic that no team that concedes 50 points through the regular season can win the premiership.
No, they can.
The Raiders 22 came through tries to Papali, George Williams, Joseph Tapane, Jack Whiten, 3 or 4 conversions to Jared Croker, and the Roosters 18, a double to James Tedesco. Joseph Manu also with a try. Flanagan, 3 of 3 conversions.
Firstly, I'd like to say to the Canberra Raiders, don't invite people to perform Photoshop miracles involving your players and then get the shits when fucking Picasso 2.0
presents you with his
drops
canvas.
The greatest fucking artwork in the history of the world.
Absolute one of the softest digis.
Exactly.
Out there. I think that if I had to rank the power rankings of soft digis, I think that Souths might be up the top. Souths or the Cowboys maybe, because Souths are very block happy. Like
really?
They just I've been blocked for them for fucking years, and I don't even know what I did. I mean, I probably said they get kicked out of the comp or something, but like I don't know. Cowboys very soft too. I've been blocked for years. I can't even remember. Once again, I think I've been blocked since like potentially the Hand of Foz era. It must be coming up on a decade now.
Nice.
But once again, I don't actually know what I did. I mean, this is the thing. They're so soft that you could just be like schadenfreuding with, like, you're not even attacking them directly. I mean, you're just replying to something where they were tagged and you're just laughing at a defeat that they found painful to bear. And
that's it.
Those got block.
Yes.
But that Canberra one, extra soft.
Yes, that's it. Back to the game, though.
Yep.
Josh Papali.
Fucking unreal.
Reinforced his position as, well, look, I want to say the form prop of the competition.
Oh, I'll say form prop.
But easily the most individually influential forward in the game at the moment. And that's with people like Damien Cook somehow learning how to play footy again.
Yep.
But just the effort he puts into every single fucking play brings people with him. And I can't remember the last time I've seen a prop forward that can put a stamp on a game in so many ways.
Yeah.
Maybe the closest you'd come to it was like a good 20-minute stretch for peak 2016-17 for Feeder.
Yeah, possibly.
When he could just get into the game and just absolutely fucking take it over. Or
like we saw in our Game 1 Origin where
that's it. Or you remember the odd beast mode game Cassiano would have?
Yeah.
Where he'd come on and just stamp his authority over every single play he was involved in. But then again, Papali involved in the second try.
Yep.
He's offloading. I thought Tarpany's solo try.
I mean, Tarpany was close to the best player on the field in this game.
Yeah, again, just
unreal.
Absolutely fantastic. However, you look at that was after the Roosters conceded a penalty and then some lazy 6-again plays. And
I tell you, that in this game, I mean, a lot of this shit was like through or past Cordner as well.
Yeah.
A lot of, I mean, like both of them, Papali and Tarpany.
I just want to give a special mention out here to the Roosters. Because from their comments after Penrith fucking demolished them and mentally deflated them, was that all Penrith did were capitalise on our errors.
Well, isn't that the fucking...
So it seems to be...
Isn't that the sport, though?
Again, after they gave away penalties and 6-again calls and Tarpany scores,
yeah,
seems to be that thing you've got. Maybe you stop making so many fucking errors, teams will stop capitalising on it, and you won't go out in straight sets, you fucking cut chooks.
Yeah. And the thing, this had one of the great fucking tries. We've had it. I think we've had one in every round of the finals this year. The greatest try of the year, disallowed.
Yeah, true.
If I mean, and look, I've got no problem. I mean, like, it was very fucking clear that Rapida jumped in from fucking a metre out of the.
Yes.
I mean, there's no problem. It was definitely not a try. But what could have been had he managed to just get his ass back inside
exactly
before he jumped.
Can't go through this game without neglecting to mention Teddy, who was just busting himself to keep the Roosters in this game and get them in, sometimes even into a position
to the point of fucking up.
Yeah. So, and it's just so fucking unlucky for him to have a couple of those, once in a season fuck ups that are outside of your control.
Especially the one that that put the Raiders up by 10 right when they needed it.
Yeah.
And that was when the Roosters were surging. Because this is the other thing too. I mean, the Roosters, for a large part of this game, they played fucking great. I mean, they were down by a ton in this game.
Yep.
Very quickly too. And Canberra were extremely dominant. They did amazingly well to claw themselves back into the game. And they, even by the end there, once again, they'd given themselves a legit shot at winning, because while they were doing a lot of things poorly in the game, I mean, one thing they were doing fairly well, especially in the second half, was exposing fucking Kotrick and drawing him out and making play. I mean, but Canberra were good enough to hold on to that big lead.
Yep.
And get the win, and very deserved winners. And I have a shout out to Dynamis Louis as well, who's actually become a legitimate fucking, like, he's become a legitimate player.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a fucking garbage bench prop. I mean, they fucking lifted when he came on too.
Yeah, that's
like,
it.
Just fuck it. It's great to see.
Spot on. Winston. Unless you got anything else you want to say?
Go for it. I'm thinking. I'll think while you speak.
Winston said, Josh Papali, the player Aaron Woods and Andrew Fafita think they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Aaron Woods, surely. I mean, he'd have to have more fucking HIAs than Liam Fulton to think that. Fafita though, because Fafita probably was 3-4 years ago, but at times. But Aaron Woods has never been that fucking guy.
No, not at all. Not at all. Dan said, please, please, please have another ref's fault so Ricky can go off chops in the presser. I'm already bored with this game and need something to keep me interested.
Rough crowd, jeez.
There's a couple of comments about the Fox guys being desperate for the Roosters to win. Did you get that feeling?
I wasn't watching it with commentary, so I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. I've still got it in there for the 6 again calls.
Yeah.
But I'm in a happy place where I think I can zone most of it out.
Yeah.
But
I'm happy with the little red fucking thing up the top that tells me there's a restart.
It does not too late for you?
Well, I mean, obviously they keep, you can also watch the referee signal it. I mean, if you're watching it, you can see it happen.
Jesus Christ. What are you, dropping meth before you watch the game? How are your fucking eyeballs moving that fast? Dan said, it always blows my mind how a team will play like bustards for 65 minutes. Then when they're 10 down with 15 to go, they start putting in effort.
Yeah, I can't remember putting effort in longer than that.
Oh, really? How long?
They were in there in the second half. I mean, they clawed back from 16-0 down. Scored just before half time. Scored again.
Fat Harry Lazy said, Roosters out in straight sets. Bathe my nuts in that fucking milk. Hashtag Geary of Cleary. Danny said, thank you, Raiders. The Raiders are out of the finals now for the Storm, and the Raiders will do for Rugby League in 2020 what the Knights did for Rugby League in 1997. Eat shit, Teddy and Uncle Nick and that bunch of under-the-radar cheating cunts.
Jeez.
Well, he's the man instructing the next generation of Australians.
How can you hate on Teddy, though? If you're a Queenslander, I suppose. But...
I don't know. Terry said, if Ground was a player, Kiri hit him spot on every pass. Yeah, it was a unfortunate night. And Russ said, you can't lose in the finals with a 90% completion rate. Very true. Raiders forward pack rotated superbly throughout the game, keeping the Roosters on the back foot. Hashtag fuck the Broncos. That's us.
And so now the Roosters are on to what could have been. And the thing that I thought about this finals campaign is that they really missed like someone like Radley, who was knocked out. I think things would may have been different with him in there.
Yep.
And guys like Verrills out as well. I mean, they suffered some injuries, but also very aging. Like the Mozzies are both of those. Both of them.
Yeah.
Waria Hargraves, obviously he's definitely over the other side of the mountain now, and he's on his way down.
Yep.
And like Cordner, great achievements for New South Wales and for the Roosters. Suffered a lot of knocks, and he was exposed a bit. And I don't know if he was carrying anything in this game. But like when you're getting exposed by footwork from like Papali, I mean, come on, son.
Yeah, that's it.
Moving right along, the Rabbitohs 38 defeated the Eels 24 at Bankwest, and the Rabbitohs 38 came from a double to Jackson Polo. Liam Knight, Cameron Murray, Bailey Sirinen, Damien Cook tries, 6 of 6 conversions and a penalty goal to Adam Reynolds. The Eels, double to Gutherson, a double to George Jennings, 4 conversions to Mitchell Moses, and a missed penalty goal that I'm sure we'll speak about. And once again, like South's absolutely peaking at the right time. This one looked like it was going to be an absolute flogging from the get-go. I mean, South moved to 8-0 very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. And then the Eels lifted and became the side that the media told us they were in May.
Yes.
Or something. One of the best halves of fucking foot. Like, you take that for 8-0 away, and from there until, half time, it was one of the best displays I think we've seen all season. And like Gutherson, like, believe it, I love the shit on Gutherson as much as the next guy, but 30 minutes that first half from him was nearly the best 30 minutes by any fucking player in the finals this year. I mean, he was fucking like flawless and influential. Fucking scored tries, laid them on.
Yeah. It's that base of just doing fucking everything that your position demands of you. And for him, it's backing up, it's looking for offloads, it's thinking run first.
Yep.
But then just putting in and fighting for every single loose ball, getting up in defence when you need to. It was a very good patch from him.
And obviously it didn't translate to the second half.
No.
Unfortunately for him. But man, I mean, the Rabbits, they've proved, I mean, we know that they can score an absolute gang of points. They've been doing it for the last couple of weeks, absolutely slaughtering. So their attack has been absolutely humming.
Yep.
This time, once again, they showed that they could fall into a deficit, and they were getting fucking hammered by the Eels.
Yeah, they were.
They were absolutely hammered, and lucky to be only 18-8 down.
Yes.
And they fought back. They fought back beautifully, and then right when we looked like we were settled into an actual game, they finally got the lead back. They're leading 2018. The Eels lift again, work their way downfield, win a penalty, right in front, pretty much right in front. Moses, say what you will about him, but he's a very good goal kicker.
Yes.
And then the rugby league guides are fucking amazing. He shanks it from right in front, bounces off the post, collected by the Rabbits, by Paulo running down the field, and then shortly thereafter, they score a fucking ridiculous try with like a crazy mistake from Gutho in the in-goal area.
Yeah, exactly.
And which puts the Rabbits ahead for good.
Yep.
And gave them a lead greater than a single converted try, and then from there, I mean, that was the game. And then further, the whole increased further when Paulo took that intercept and scored.
Yeah.
And broke Gutho's ankles. and turned. This is the thing. It turned Gutho into like one of those Darius Boyd memes.
Yes.
Except it wasn't like that at all. I mean, when you see where Gutho started on that chase, he was like on the other side of the field. Like, he was miles away.
Yeah, he fucking motored over there. He
motored so hard to actually get into the position there. And when someone's moving with such velocity, it doesn't take fucking Tuivasa-Sheck to step back inside and get rid of the guy. Like, I mean, he had there's you can't even speak about turning circle at that pace. There is no turn.
If that was me on the field, I would get the stepdad nickname, but for a different reason. Yeah. On this one though, before the game, Michael Jennings, story drops. Now
busted for a violation of the performance enhancing drugs. Yep. 2 things apparently.
What was
one
he
of
on?
them? I can't even remember. It was like something league something. But whatever it was the one that was that Sigiaro pinged for at the end of last year.
Okay.
And so he's come out and said, look, he's dead against performance enhancing drugs and cheating and blah 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 blah. So I assume that he's going to have his B sample. He's going to elect to have that tested, and we'll see how we go. And then when that happens, then it will come out as to what sort of levels of these 2 substances were in his system. And then that's when you can really start, because like just about every athlete who's ever been pinged in history, he's probably going to go down the tainted route.
Yep.
And the thing is about the tainted route, it's very hard to prove unless you've got... If you can identify which supplement you think was tainted, you still have like half a container of that supplement left that you can then trace back to the lab in terms of batch numbers and all that sort of thing, and then they can get other product from that batch number, test those, etc. And also with tainted stuff as well, it's not like you're not getting a full dose. What you're getting supplements that are probably made in China or somewhere with, not the best hygienic practices, places that produce steroids as well as legitimate substances, and it's just cross contamination because they haven't properly cleaned the equipment that they used to produce it. The thing is with that though, you're only getting like trace amount. You're not getting the full. So if he pings for like an amount that is like a large amount that would be someone would use if they were on the roids trying to cheat.
Now here's an interesting thing.
Yep.
I've just had a look at what he was on. It's Ligandrol.
Ligandrol, that's it.
It says Ligandrol is a novel non-steroidal oral selective androgen receptor modulator. Mm-hmm. Didn't sound like that fucking thing Marvin the Martian was looking for. For treatment of conditions such as muscle wasting and osteoporosis.
Mm-hmm.
So,
thing is about every steroid, they all have a use.
Yeah,
usually for veterinary purposes, but they all have a legitimate use. And then they just happen to have side effects when humans use.
The interesting thing is, it says it was discovered by Ligand Pharmaceuticals.
Okay,
hence the name Ligandrol.
Yeah,
and is currently under development by Viking Therapeutics.
Okay. For the purpose of...
I don't know.
The osteo ones or dudes getting jacked?
Let's follow the trail here.
Dudes playing like they're 10 years younger all of a sudden, and people going, wow, that player's really turned back the clock this year.
So Viking Therapeutics... Okay, that looks like they're actually traded on the NASDAQ.
Okay.
It says novel therapeutics for metabolic and endocrine disorders.
Yeah.
A nice way of saying we make roids. So, hopefully with this one, it's just Jennings having some bad advice, although you are fucking responsible for that shit 100%.
Yep. And when the B sample's tested, then it will come out as to what sort of levels that he had of these two substances. And when that happens, I mean, it's very easy to tell what the difference between like actual ingestion of the real product versus some trace amount that no one would ever take for performance benefit because it's so small, so therefore it could be tainted or whatever.
Okay, makes sense. Look, be sad to see him go out like this.
Yep.
He obviously had his behavioural and discipline issues early on in his career.
Yep.
And I think for somebody that was told for as long as he was that his shit didn't stink,
mm-hmm.
and was an absolute try-scoring machine early on, turning up to training drunk wasn't as far as he could have fallen.
Yeah.
By his own admission, it was having kids that got him on the straight and narrow. But he did seem to turn into that, consistent effort player. And I felt at a time when his body not necessarily started to let him down, but he obviously had to train a little bit harder and put a little bit more effort in to perform as he did on the field.
Yep.
And had been a very good contributor to the teams he played for once he left Penrith. Obviously had great success with, the Roosters.
Yep.
And again, at Parramatta, almost a career resurgence. It would just be sad to think that that'd be tainted.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hate to see this season tainted, but I think it's inevitable it will be. And then you look back and you go, wow, he really turned back the clock this year.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, he was a different player.
And
and then you start, putting two together and you go, well, yeah, obviously. That makes sense.
The thing going into this one, for anyone that plays the Raiders, I think there's a fairly obvious game plan, and that is move the ball around and create second phase footy. If you look at almost every decent opportunity Parramatta had to score, it came off the back of offloads.
Yes.
And it came off the back of offloads and then cutting back against the general direction of play. The Raiders have this nasty habit... Rabbits have this nasty habit of preparing or setting up for the next play maybe a little bit prematurely. So if you can take advantage of that, there are meters to be had and there's fucking points to be had as well, as Parramatta showed. The fact that Cody Walker's in the form he is scares me the most. Like that's almost impossible to contain when he's in a mind like that.
On the back of Damien Cook finding his origin Damien Cook all the
time. He can run. He can fucking run. But I think there's some vulnerability in the Rabbits forwards. So we shall see.
Look, at the end of the day, though, they were absolutely hammered for 30 minutes by the Eels. Went down by a double-digit amount, and they found a way not. It didn't take them very long to peg it back, and then to
that seems to be their MO this year.
Yeah,
like last week when they were what did they play last week? The Knights.
Yeah,
and the Knights were up.
Yeah,
was it 14-0 or 14-6, whatever it was.
Yep.
And Walker, like he's behind, and they were behind and didn't look like they were going to do anything positive with all their fucking errors.
I mean, there was a lot of errors and everything too.
And he was gobbing at Mitchell Pearce like they were 50 points in front.
Yep.
I think that's South's mindset at the moment. There's no situation they can't get themselves out of, and they just play.
And it may just be a matter of that our attack is so good at the moment that it doesn't matter what you do. We're gonna score more.
Yep.
The old West Tigers mindset, except successful.
Spot on.
And happening in finals football.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let me get into the tweets. Hayden said Mitchell Moses did not deliver tonight for the Eels. However, he delivered a try from a shithouse kick at goal and a sookie cunt performance for himself when he didn't get the interference call near the end. That's what you get for being surrounded by your Queen Gutho and other bunch of sookie cunts. # fuck the Broncos. Ben said, in closing, Moses sucks like an open door on a jumbo jet. Rabbitohs attack concerns the Panthers fan in me. The Rabbitohs handling does not. # fuck the Broncos. # Geary of Cleary. One-Eyed Tiger said, Moses' implosion to lose the game had me exploding. Tell you what, some fucking Tigers fans enjoying the demise of Moses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the finals have worked out perfectly for them so far because they've seen the back of Woods, Teddy, and Moses now.
Yeah, that's it. Jordan.
So this week, Luke Brooks can play the same amount of finals games as those guys.
Thanks for bottling it, Moses, you silly streak of piss. Anthony said, remember when COVID shut down the NRL and it was going to be a Parramatta undefeated season? You are welcome. Go South. Jason.
I thought he was claiming to be the guy that ate the bat or something.
Jason said, last night Teddy did a Darius. Tonight Gutho did. His shit is starting to spread like Rona in an ISO hotel. Shunter said, Parramatta had way too many experienced guys to panic as badly as they did with a slender deficit and plenty of time left on the clock. Classic dig up stupid rugby league. Such a good way to describe it. It was unfortunate they couldn't manage themselves back into that game.
Shout out to Brad Arthur too. I mean, wasn't this meant to be the era? This was how many premierships was he going to win by 2021?
I don't know.
2? Yeah.
10. Who fucking knows?
Unlucky, mate.
That's it.
Unlucky super coach. Previews, okay, coming up to the second last week of the comp and the second preliminary final, as they call it. The Storm v the Raiders happening on Friday night. Suncorp Stadium is the place. The Storm, Tom Eisenhuth replaces Chris Lewis on the bench. Munster is named and set to play. Dale Finucane could return from injury as well. The Raiders, no omissions or inclusions from last week. Starling and Soliola listed to start and Havili and Young benched. Ryan Sutton named in the reserves. Shout out to Hudson Young as well, who's removed the eye poking out of his game and replaced that with fucking amazing play.
Yeah. Barnstorming runs. Who'd have thought? The thing that gets you suspended for 18 weeks in a row and isn't that hard to scrub out from your game
can unlock your natural potential if you don't do it.
It's not like he has this rare genetic disorder where he must stick his arm out at a 90-degree angle from his body as he approaches other people. Fuck me.
Weird, and this is the same for both. I mean, I guess it's just the markets, the way they sort of they start. But it's crazy. Like both games are like, the favorite is like $1.45, and the other team is like $2.75. Yeah. And neither of the games are like that.
No, they're not.
And I imagine they'll probably even up towards game time, as the punters get in. But weird, it's a strange way to set it because I mean, like Storm have been they have been great over this final, but Canberra. It's funny. Both games you're looking at teams that have been great over the finals versus teams that have been building and still that appear to be getting better as they go through, which makes it both games very interesting. I still feel like the Storm are just overall more solid, and they're certainly not the team that makes the kind of mistakes that invites the Raiders in. The Raiders are amazing off short range raids, caused from 6 agains, and dumb fucking penalties, and shit like that. Forget how they got started against the Roosters shouldn't have been a penalty, but Maria Hargraves going over the top on Whiten after a kick, and he didn't really touch him, but he had his arm out and it looked bad, and it was and it was him, so it's always going to be a penalty. Just dumb shit like that, and that's what put the Raiders on, and that was that. Storm, they're not so much.
Looking
at the team
Storm,
that are going to make that sort of mistake.
Yeah. They I expect will tighten up a little bit. They've had a couple of games where this whole new free-flowing Storm attack thing got a little bit out of hand. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Bellamy would have failed to notice that and will rein shit right back in.
And it always seems to be the problem where when it's happened the last couple of weeks, it's always seemed to happen though, where they've kind of got the match won, they've got a decent lead, they've been smashing it, and then the other team sort of has this 20-minute period where they sort of come back at them a bit. Mm-hmm.
In terms of the Raiders do have, those guys who just through individuals imposing their will or dominance into a section of the game, like Whiten.
Yep.
He's just in that purple patch again, just as he was in the finals last year.
Yep.
Where
the will to win.
It's shit he's touching is turning to gold.
Yep.
It's that unquantifiable Midas bullshit where he's just, because of additional effort, everywhere he needs to be and gets extra opportunities to take advantage of.
Yep.
Papali, again, just barnstorming his way through lines and making breaks and offloading and just, you talk about halves looking like they have so much time in the world to play. Papali at the moment for a forward
looks like he has so much time to wind up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But then again, even when he's tackled,
I
don't know if gravity affects him at a different rate than other people, but he just looks, as he's falling,
he bounces
to be able to, look left, look right, who's around.
Oh yeah, I can get it.
Assess defenders, then offload.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But no, I can't go past tipping the Storm here.
Yeah, and look, both of these games I think can go either way. So I just on the basis of big time pressure games, I think the Raiders are definitely getting there. I mean, they are building and they're getting better. I mean, and if they take another step forward this week over how they played last week, then they'll win the game.
Yep.
But I just don't know if the Storm are the team that are going to invite them into the game as many times as the Roosters did.
Yep.
And the flip side of that is I don't think the Storm are going to, like one of the tweeters said about, I don't think there's going to be passes hitting the ground and all this non-crisp attack happening either.
That's it.
The first preliminary final, the Panthers take on the Rabbitohs, ANZ Stadium, Saturday night. And can I just say, Ashley Klein and Jared Sutton are the referees for the games respectively this week. I think which game was it? Which was Ashley Klein's game last week? There's some fucking great decisions made. Like
one's in line with the rules.
Difficult try scoring situations where if we're watching on TV and you just assume it's a try, and he goes nuts, send it up as no try, held up. And then you look at the replay, and the ball stops a fucking centimetre above the fucking grass. Yep. And you go, well, fuck, that was actually, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but that was actually a great decision.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the game at hand. The Panthers taking on the Rabbitohs, and Kickout suspended. TWiL comes on, as he's done a couple of times this year already. And Lenu joins the bench. The Rabbits, no changes to their 21-man squad at this stage. None whatsoever, no reshuffles, nothing. Then why not go ahead with what's been working for you? So here you go. State your case. Why are the Panthers going to handle...
I said it in the recaps. Cody Walker on his own, and the way he's currently playing both sides of the field, scares the living piss out of me. In terms of, you can prepare for him a little bit on one side, but then all of a sudden he pops up where he's not supposed to be, and that combination with Reynolds going both ways has been absolutely picking teams apart. I am lucky that Damien Cook's had 2 weeks of remembering who he is. I don't know if he's been fucking playing under an amnesia cloud for the entire season. It's finally snapped and he remembers what he can do. But hopefully there's been enough signs of Souths and how they're playing since they gave the Roosters that 60-point drubbing that there's been game plans formulated for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is where there's a potential weakness for the Panthers. And I take you back to the loss they had post-Rona. Was youth and inexperience can have them shown up in defence. And that was when Crichton was absolutely embarrassed by Wonga Blake, of all people.
Yep.
Just with youth and inexperience.
Yep.
Typical rookie, bursts onto the scene, can score a try, pure athletic ability, but can be baited into some fairly silly decisions. On the other hand, Souths have put themselves into situations where they've had to make comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
And the opportunity's there to score points on them. The opportunity's there to force mistakes. And if anything this year, the Panthers' defence has stood up and been far better than it has been in seasons past. I think the week off will have done them good. I think Capel fits into the systems very well now. Again, he's not kick-out.
Yeah, and the problem is he will if he gets the crash ball from 5 meters out, if it's there to be scored, he'll score it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, they're not looking at Capewell as a giant threat that's going to distract defenders from a ball that's going to Crichton.
That's it.
So
yeah,
that's where they're going to lose on that sort of
correct
that confusion defensively.
This one I think is going to come down to discipline. To keeping ahead when shit gets hard, because shit is going to get fucking hard in this one. And rely on guys, like Fish and like, Liam Martin, just doing what they do and running themselves ragged for 80 minutes. It's going to rely on Cleary controlling the game exceptionally well. He's up against one of the greatest boots to have come, I'll say, in the last 8 or 9 years, in that of Adam Reynolds. Say what you like about him, but can control a fucking game.
Yeah.
And if I had to get anybody to put a rugby league ball in a hula hoop from 20 metres out to save my life, he's probably the first call I'm making.
Yeah.
Guts and enthusiasm and youth have gotten the Panthers through all year, and I don't see why it stops now. So Panthers 13 plus, put your house on it.
And the flip side of the youth sort of situation is, especially through the back line, especially through the centers, essentially zero experience.
Yeah.
In this sort of scenario, and they're going up against guys like Campbell Graham and Alex Johnson, like guys that have been there before.
Yep.
For years, and with Cody Walker, I mean, engineering those guys. I think the biggest danger. The Panthers' defense has been good this year, so I think that their defense, can be minimise the damage, and certainly not as many points scored as South have been scoring recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Panthers can obviously score points as well, but I think it's Cody Walker versus inexperienced players, and the real key moment, if it even comes, is going to be if South put the game's up and running, tries have been exchanged, and the Rabbits put 2 on back to back quickly, the way they've been accumulating points.
Yep.
And then what happens then when the young players are fucking grand finals on the line?
Yeah.
What the fuck, they're because South, like they did to Parramatta last week, they love to exploit a fucking panicking side,
That's it.
So it's important that the Panthers and the week off could have been good for them, but also with the experience, the week off could have been bad for them too. I mean, sometimes the best thing for a young team to do is
keep playing,
just keep playing, not getting their heads about things. So I mean, they haven't been too crazy media wise or anything like that. So they should be okay. But man, it's just great to have 2 games with 4 teams in the final week before the grand final, where you're literally, legitimately, any of those 4 teams, any 2 of those 4 teams can win.
Mm-hmm.
So well, except for the case if the 2 teams were Panthers and Souths, because obviously only one team can win. But
yes, correct.
You know what I fucking mean. And so I don't know. I mean, you go with home teams if you're safe.
Yep.
Not that the home venues are actually home venues at this point. I mean, considering the Storm are playing fucking 2,000 kilometers away from their home field, but yeah, all I want is I just want some great games, and look, we've by and large we've been getting them, especially once we got the teams like the Knights and the Sharks out.
Yeah, the actual finals,
the actual finals game. Yeah, they have been great games. I hope to see continuation. Okay, mailbag this week. Stuart says, is Kyle Flanagan a scapegoat for a club that might have become addicted to success? Would he be a worthy subject of a swap deal, bringing him back once he scratched the bumpers of someone else's car learning to drive? Look, he is definitely, if what they say is going to happen happens, then absolutely he's a scapegoat for a club that's become addicted to success. But you know what? I don't hate it. I look from the outside and I go, wow, ruthless motherfuckers. How good. To have standards of success set so high that they would have ruthlessly fucking cut somebody who they've deemed to be not up to the task.
Let's take it with a grain of salt. At this stage, all he's the victim of is media speculation.
Yes.
That's what he's the victim of.
And it's like putting, 2 and 2 together and coming up with, any number really, because Mitchell Pearce is obviously, he was going to get re-signed, extended, midway through the year. The extension time has shrunk down. Everything's off the table at the moment. Just through the sheer inactivity of signing around there and the way he finished the season, obviously, you can speculate that the Knights maybe balking at the price, or maybe thinking that perhaps he's not their best option going forward. And with his connection to East, obviously, then wow, he could go back to East, and then wow, well, who's in his place at East? Flanagan. Well,
I really think he should go and do the family legacy proud and not achieve anything at the Tigers.
Wouldn't that be great? Amazing.
That is that club's legacy.
Yeah, it's true.
People just not achieving anything.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Nigel said, is it really a legitimate competition now COVID has conspired to take the Roosters out of the competition? Surely it should be abandoned now. Common sense says so. Hashtag fuck the Broncos.
I would say the competition is more legitimate now than it has ever been. All of the glory-chasing media cum dumpsters are gone. All these people that sort of selfishly control the game and have points reset and all of these things for their own selfish interests.
Yep.
Gone.
Yep.
All those teams that chose to hijack narratives by having out-of-shape boxers come and play rugby league just to create some spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. Actual rugby league teams vying for the NRL Premiership still there.
Chris.
Season starts now.
Chris says, how's the meetup looking? I don't know.
Nah.
No, you can't get it.
Look, I think at this stage, all that we'll end up being able to do is maybe nominate a venue and say
turn up.
Turn up. However, what everyone has said to me is we're not happy to book out without substantial money up front.
Yep.
Because what if you tell us you've got 100 people coming?
Yep.
50 of them show up.
Yep.
And we've turned away 50 people.
Yep.
That we could have had.
Yep. That makes sense.
Exactly. Especially for hospo.
And look, I'm going to say, like, Queensland listeners haven't fucking
absolute fucking weak cunts.
Haven't showered themselves in glory
previously
in the past.
Yeah, no. Sydney, staunch.
Staunch
Always
as fuck. Yeah, staunch as fuck.
And yeah, look, with some honourable exceptions.
Yeah,
it's my old favourite people that drove down from Queensland.
Well, yeah, but I mean, have they been to? They've been to.
Yeah.
They've been to every Queensland one since too.
I would suggest that there's going to be nothing, official in terms of we have this space and we're able to book it out.
But it'll be like, here's a place.
Yeah,
show up.
I don't know. I'm trying to sort something.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Ian said, how silly would it be to not get on Canberra 13 plus in the grand final? Look, why are you fucking jinxing yourself, man? Send that post that comment next week if you win.
Yes.
Don't start like talking about you're going to do this and you're going to do that in the grand final when you're not in there yet, because you know what the NRL guys are like.
Oh yeah,
they will fuck you over. You personally.
Yes, you will be held responsible for this.
Yes. Ross said, what are your thoughts on now Kevy's the Broncos coach? Will this resurrect the thoroughbreds, the brown paper bags, and generous third-party deals? My greatest fear is we'll be back to when Bennett gets credit for coaching premierships with a team of 11 internationals and 5 origin players. Looks like the Pangai Jr. investigation's gone the way of the G cash payments. Now they're really pally again. Nothing to see here. Move on. Yeah, well, yeah, this is true. The Pangai salary cap thing seems to have gone dead cold.
That's it.
And you're right. Since they're all friends again, I don't know if it will necessarily resurrect the thoroughbreds and things like that. I mean, they weren't closed down.
The thoroughbreds were effective at keeping players from leaving once they proved to be worthwhile.
Yes.
So you think about those Broncos teams of old, they never really got any. There's obviously people like Tallis.
Yep.
Who came from other clubs.
Yep.
But he was coming back to the Broncos, I think, regardless. It was just a Queensland thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's from everything I've heard him say on radio interviews and that. Yeah,
that's
was anyway.
So the thoroughbreds aren't there to bring people to the club. That's what the Broncos need.
They're there to retain the juniors that turn out to be Queensland origin stars when their salary, exceeds what the cap can hold.
And if you think about it, that's a much safer initiative to undertake anyway.
Yeah.
Because if let's say they look at Nathan Cleary, greatest half to ever play the game, future Immortal, and some random guy from Brisbane approaches him and says, oh, look, I think you should talk to the Broncos. And he's like, well, hang on, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Talk to my manager. No, don't want to talk to your manager. But I think you should come and have a coffee with me. And, okay, do you work for the Broncos? No. I have no official association with the Broncos as well. This is all very fucking strange, and I fear you're going to rape me, sir. So I'm going to hang up the phone right now and get back to doing TikTok with amazing hot bitches. So that's how that conversation would have gone. But, yeah, look, if Kevy's back, that brings the old boys back.
Yeah.
And never underestimate the want of people to feel important within a sporting organisation that they really have nothing to do with.
And especially when they can rub shoulders with the players that they idolise rather than, these fucking no-name.
One of the massive alleged junkets of thoroughbreds gone past was to have the players on end-of-season trips to developing rugby league nations.
Yes. So
the players could write that off as part of their, not community service, but what do they call it? Community activity? Or,
like charitable sort
There's a quota of time that every club has to have its players out in the field, and it counts double or something when you're in pretty much PNG.
Yep.
I think. But, so they'd go and do a couple of appearances in PNG, sign off on their forms, but then they'd spend the rest of the time out on a fucking super yacht.
Yeah.
Doing all sorts of things in international waters, allegedly. So, yeah. If out of the current crop, what the thoroughbreds do tend to do is not let situations like what the Darius situation was.
Yep.
Allow rifts to happen between the club and its power brokers and players and factions of players within the club.
Yep.
So it squashes that shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, they, rather than the situation that Pasco engineered for Robbie Farah, or tried to when he got caught, the thoroughbreds can engineer a great job in construction.
Yes.
For Darius Boyd, if he's prepared to step away. And
that's it.
And, coincidentally, the construction job actually pays the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, we will see. Because, I mean, all of this thoroughbred stuff and everything, it's great to talk about. But then there's also, can Kevy actually coach that thing to talk about as well? And, the jury's out. Well, not really, because, I mean, he's had two appointments and he coaches like a 33% success record. So, tipping. Everyone's second favourite tipper is on top. Well, we got 3 points left up for grabs.
Oof.
1 point lead. King Kong lost the point last week. Who didn't he pick?
Nasty.
Didn't pick the Raiders, I reckon.
Really?
I reckon that's what I reckon. I mean, I could probably click in there and find out. A lot of the top 10 only got one. And fucking one guy went for the gusto, and I can only assume he was trying to catch up, and he got 0.
Nasty.
But everyone's second favourite tipper is on top by 1 point. Followed by King Kong, 1 point back. 1 point back again, Benny 89. 1 point back, a jam with Mrs. Whistle, Warm S, Jangles, East West Arabian Swamp Echidnas, and then 1 point back to Kane, Daniel Stewart, and Nightmare, with Daniel Stewart being the person who got 0 out of 2 this week.
Named and shamed. Ouch.
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, credit to you, sir. I mean, I'm not going to say finishing in the top 10 because I'm pretty sure that down to the top 50 is probably like 1 point out of the top 10 at this point. But with only three points up for grabs now, I guess it's time. I mean, this is my favourite time, in tipping competitions, because you're like, if you're King Kong in second place, at some point you got to go for you're either happy to finish second, or you're going to roll the dice on the result.
Can he end up third?
Oh, probably, but I mean, you know what I mean. Like if you're not first, you're last.
That's true.
And there's no prizes for second, third. There's no prize for first except for glory anyway. And so, do you roll the dice and go for the underdogs to try and overhaul? Overhaul the guy who's on top, who's potentially going to safe bets.
Yes.
Tactics.
Yes, you go first.
And that's it. Full time for episode 372. Thanks for listening, everyone. As always, you can interact with us on Twitter, so follow at TWiL League. Our Facebook community lives at TWiL Nation. Get in there at facebook.com/groups/TWiL Nation. And if you go into the group and someone says something and you go back at that someone and then they go back at you and then so on, and it repeats and repeats and you're getting heated and you start getting hurt in your feelings, just disengage. What you don't do, or come up with better material, more hurtful material. What you don't do is fucking report them for like bullying or harassment or, whatever that fucking Zuckerberg's going to get his beak in there and fucking give people bans and shit. Because that shit is fucked.
Yes.
It's so frustrating when you got a Facebook ban. I speak from experience because I've got 24 hours of a ban left to go. Probably 22 hours as we speak. For posting a picture of big dick fucking Barry sticking his big dick down Jack Whiten's throat. And so I've got 3 days for that. It just shows how the world's changed in this COVID period, because I mean, fuck, when COVID started, I was putting a meme of Barry up every single day. I must have put a dozen of the fucking things up. No bans to be had. So it's just don't be a little bitch. If you can't handle the banter, just disengage. Let them have the last word. Don't go into that thread. Don't look at it. But don't get in there and fuck our shit up.
Nice.
Where are we? If you'd like to support the show, make sure you drop us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to go the extra mile, our digital memberships are still available and can be picked up anytime for only $3.99 a month. And of course, it wouldn't be really considered support of the show if you were to buy a digital membership, grab all the membersodes, and then immediately cancel it either. Not mentioning any names. Fucking hoe.
Jesus.
Yeah, this week is a week of having to just fucking police the bitch ass.
Look, you know what? Maybe, who knows? Did that person lose their job in COVID?
Doubtful.
I'm fucking lighting candles in this time now.
I refuse.
And I'm gonna say that I'm sure that you feel okay with what you've done, and you're not just a punk ass little bitch.
Yeah, they know they fucking did.
Hey,
fucking
well
bitches. And that's it. See you next week.
Later.
Also, the membersode will be delayed this week by a day to allow the Digi members the opportunity to send in questions to business@thisweekinleague.com. We've got a couple of cracking stories this week, but we're very light on the questions. So we're going to have to need some people to jump in, send us some questions before Thursday night, and at which point we'll bust it out, or Thursday afternoon even, and we'll bust it out, and it'll be up on Thursday or Friday morning or something.
Beautiful.
See you next week.
Can't wait.